but this hunt for attention, at the end of the day, the cash value of this is attention, people's attention. Yeah, as you said, just the average Joe to get to notice me. And I don't think it's, well, yeah, it's too much sometimes.
What's up, guys? Gramajo here. This week's episode is with Rezva, an artist from the Ukraine. Very happy and glad I got to sit down with her and speak with her about her art, the NFT space, being a woman in the space, monsters, and everything in between. Thanks for tuning in and enjoy.
Who is Rezva? Obviously, you don't have to dox yourself.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, I don't mind doxing myself. In fact, I think I was using for quite some time my own photo on Twitter. So, but I'm Rezva. It's not my name. My name is Katya, but this have been my alias, or how to call it, since I think I was 7. For some reason, kids at school gave me, and then it stick. And it doesn't really mean anything in Ukrainian. Just funny letters that actually worked for me, and so I took it as my artist name too. So yeah, I'm from Ukraine. I'm an artist, and I don't know. I think I have many labels to attach to me, really, because I also work full time, which is not art related, and many things like that. But there was this constant to me that this art, and I was making things which can be considered artistic since a very early age, in different forms. I even went to some music school for a little bit, then I dropped, then I wrote poems, then I quit that, but then the visual arts and digital art specifically was my thing for the longest time. For about 2 years now, I'm in NFT space as well. There's wonderful opportunities there to showcase my art, to develop my art as well, to grow as an artist. I was doing that, and I'm still doing NFTs, and I also I cannot say I'm a collector. I don't think it applies to me fully, but yeah, I do collect. Some other art too, and I make GIFs. Usually, they loop, and that's my main focus lately. Doing animated scenes, abstract or not, different ways, but different content. But I prefer making animated things lately. So to be short, this is pretty much it. And we can go on from there.
Awesome. I'm glad that you actually explained if it had any meaning or not. I was actually pretty curious if it did have any meaning, like your name, or if it meant something, but it seems like it's just like a name that that came through in school, and it just kind of stuck.
Well, actually, in Ukrainian, it's not exactly, but there is a Russian meaning. Rezva means quick, fast. Maybe that's the closest one. But actually, it's just closer to meaning nothing than something.
Got it. That's awesome. I appreciate that. Yeah, so I know that you jumped kind of into your background a bit. How did you actually end up getting into, getting involved in Web3, or just what made you go from the traditional creating space to that Web3? What was that for you?
Well, people who knew about NFTs earlier than I did, and they just shared the knowledge with me. It was, I think, already in 2020, I was hearing about this, and a few artists in the space, we were doing, there was a little group of artists that we had chats, I don't think any of them are in our favorite monster Discord. No, but they're still in NFT space. And so we were doing some art and sharing it on Instagram, supporting each other. And then someone from that group actually said that there is this thing called NFTs and it might be very cool for artists. And yeah, this is how we started. Unfortunately, I didn't jump in on this train back in 2020. Probably that would be a great idea. Maybe not. I don't know. Because I regret sometimes things I minted earlier those days. So I joined later. I think January 2021 was my first mint on Rarible. Yeah, and so pretty early. And like, looking back at this, I was relatively early because the majority of people jumped in, I think, in summer 2021 or spring. So but I don't know. Was that head start meaningful for me or not? I was figuring out anyway what I want to achieve as an artist, and then what these whole tokens mean. So it was still very confusing. But that was story goes like this, and I'm glad actually that many of those people that I was starting with are still here. Some just gave up, I think, on NFTs a little bit, but many still here and just really enjoying their art and growing as an artist. Yeah, it's pretty cool to see. So it's been already 2 years, and yeah, it's still, even a bear or bull market, doesn't matter. People are still here.
Yeah, that's awesome that those initial people are still involved.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because definitely a lot of people have maybe given up, or I don't know, gone away for the winter, and they'll come back at some point. But that's awesome that they're still involved, even if they're not involved in the monsters server.
I should bring them in.
January 2021 is early.
Yeah. It turns out, but again, it was also very confusing, and the things were changing, and many things were imperfect, like our choice to mint on OpenSea shared contract, or a crazy expensive variable your own contract that back then cost, I don't know, I didn't mint on my own contract because of those prices, like $500 or $800, I remember, for your own contract. And I understood back then that that's the way, your own contract, shared storefront on OpenSea, probably not the best, but yeah, it was so expensive. Nowadays, with Manifold and things, it's much easier for folks to join this space.
Agreed. Yeah, I think early on I looked at Rarible as well when I joined in the fall of 21, and even then I think you're right. I think it was like $500 just to be on your own contract, which, like you said, from a technical perspective, it made sense, but from a let me mint to see where this thing goes, 500 is a very big entry fee.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, unless you've had, big success in like the traditional art space, which I don't know if you did before, but 500 is prohibitive for sure.
Yeah, for many. I don't know, some people took the risk, and I saw some folks minting even back then. I think generally it's the right thing to do, to really believe in what you want to do and just risk it. Why not? Of course, it's a huge sum of money for some, but yeah, I was more of cautious back then, and I think it's good, because then eventually things came along, like Manifold or just Tezos, or even greater things become available for us, and ultimately that was for the good, that I didn't rush back then to try everything there was in this space.
So did you initially, when you get started in the space, did you get started as a collector or as a creator at first?
As a creator, and but the thing is, I was minting everything well, I don't know. I was it was a completely different art style, and I was still figuring out things. I was making collages mainly, and that came from my works that I put out on Instagram always, almost daily for a year or more. So I wouldn't, at least to me, if I look at what I was starting with, it's not exactly consistent. But then I see many other amazing artists who just completely all over the place with their style and technique, and I think maybe that's all right. Yeah, but I was starting as an artist, and then this whole thing opened up to me. Like, yeah, it's amazing to collect as well, and for profit or just to hunt gems. And this ownership, like this understanding that it's a very interesting way of thinking about assets, like digital assets. It was completely new. It captured me, and I also just started collecting too, pretty early the day, and that year. So yeah, it was both, and then also in parallel to all of that, the main thing was happening that I was meeting people and just meeting other artists or collectors, which always felt like, sure, I would meet people, but then it turned out to be the focus of all this endeavor. This either creating. Well, of course, creating and working on myself and on my art style is also central, but then this community thing was also and still is amazing part to this whole journey.
Agreed. Yeah, it's it's almost like the red pill kind of thing, where maybe you didn't think it was that you were going to meet people and make friends along the way, but you end up doing that,
Yeah, because usually, from the outside, it looks like I work a lot, and then evenings and sometimes nights I spend on art, and it looks like it's a very the isolation is the way to look at it. But then you meet so many people. Yeah, that's true, and having fun, and eventually some get to New York to meet each other today, or they're having fun there. For example, monsters and stuff like that. So it's amazing, really.
Agreed. Is there a big like NFT scene in the Ukraine?
Relatively big. Of course, it's not huge, and definitely not every artist I know even knows about it, or definitely by this point everyone heard about NFTs, but some some are pretty active. I'm not trying to estimate how many I know from Ukraine who are like around 5 people. That's a lot for it's just my those people that I knew before, and definitely there are way more, I think. Yeah, it's pretty popular.
Oh, that's awesome. It seems like a lot of people are from like, Indonesia and the US, obviously. But was mostly curious around the country in general, like for crypto. So that's good to hear. So it's not super isolating where you're like the only person that you know.
No, that would be no. Yeah, I know. I even know the artist who I saw one exhibition in person. I can't remember which year it was, but definitely before NFTs. And then I see him doing great in NFT space as well. And then another animator from Ukraine. Yeah, like pretty few.
That's awesome. That's great to see that, like you said, exhibit in real life and then NFTs later. Let me ask you, do you what do you think are some of those advantages that blockchain technology like gives you or offers you as an artist? I think you were talking about how you were learning about tokens and I'm guessing like ERC 721s and ERCs 1155s and all that. But what do you think are the advantages that blockchain technology enables you as an artist versus the real world?
Mm-hmm. Well, many of them are just differences. Some are just differences, some are real advantages. I think the biggest one would be, and especially with editions, is the opportunity to showcase your work at the same time in multiple galleries or in multiple wallets, collections, but preferably galleries, of course, like on Cyber or even some in physical places, digital art. So it's not like the one painting, you have it and some gallery has it and it's only one. And then so space-time confined way of making art. While here, and you can at the same place, you can have your art anywhere, even if it's 101. I think some galleries allow to show that piece, even if you don't own it. So this is a very new way of, I don't want to say consuming art, but just enjoying art and showcasing your art. Also to collect, and as a collectors, I'm sure I also like collecting editions, because this is, I think it's a huge plus actually, that other collectors also have this exact same piece in their collections. 101s are cool and unique, and they're obviously special because they're one, but editions are just fantastic way to share your work and to collect others' work. And then of course this connections and also I'm not sure, it's just doesn't relate to blockchain technology per se, but this whole NFT space is about showing your work to everyone across the globe because of the internet and stuff. So it's also easier to get seen, really, and to get it in some discussions about your work, or especially if your work is political or some social commentary kind of art. That's obviously an easier way to show it. So many advantages. I think if I have a good thinking, and you can spend a pretty long time just on advantages. But on the other hand, I'm not thinking if there are some limitations. I think that also on the other side, people who enjoy art have to sort of accept that these digital assets, tokens, are real assets, and this paradigm shift, to just accept that, so I own it, that's in my wallet, and that's proper ownership, and then everything comes along. Because if many just don't buy it still, obviously just say, what, it's just a picture and there's some code on the blockchain and that means you own it. No. And so this is very either you own it or not, and this might be make it difficult for collectors and artists to just use it and to appreciate it.
Yeah, I laugh because that's initially kind of my thought. I was like, oh, okay, so you own a JPEG and there's like some hash that says
well, that's
you
a
own
valid
it
point,
on the blockchain.
But
I know, and for the longest time that was me, and then I realized it's so much more. Especially with like the animated stuff, because like obviously if you work in animation and you do long form animation, you could probably find some success like that on the internet, but it's like like these 10-second, 8-second, 15-second animations that I feel like it's where it shines really, really strongly as well. And in creating value for you as well, like you don't have to spend you know, a year working on something that's like a 10-minute video, and then you might get success on that and might get paid for that. You know, you could theoretically do something for a month and work on these like 15, 20 seconds, put it on the blockchain, and find success and refine your style like a lot faster. Like the
Yeah,
feedback
true.
loops a
Yeah.
lot faster. Obviously, like for photography and stuff like that, it's pretty, or just like still images, it's pretty quick. Like either people like it or they don't.
Yeah, but I saw it
Yeah.
was a fairly old statistics that what sells on blockchain the best, and usually still images were in the top, at the top of the yeah, like by large. So the majority of I think it was super rare, probably stats that yeah, the animation was quite behind, and I thought, well, yeah, so I don't know what to think of this, but yeah, maybe just easier to see and to just appreciate, and it's all faster with animation. You have to spend even those 10 seconds you have to spend watching it, and yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. Ultimately, those are different genres. Even 10 minutes animation could be pretty successful as an NFT or as an old form of, just spend a year, make this animation and send it to festival, and maybe it will be appreciated. I know success is one side of this, but also the other side is just there's an artist and their tools and just the urge to make it. Either this is a 20 minutes animation or just 3 frames animation. So yeah, it's definitely the space defines a lot of things. And if something works or sells even better, usually, of course, it will alter some choices that artists do. But yeah, I know some artists are just pretty long form animations. Still trying to make it here in NFT space, and that's also great to see.
Yeah. It's also, I think you're right. Like, you know what you were saying, like sales is like one side versus just that itch to create. And whether, like people will actually like it or not. I think about like, in early, like in Instagram days, or really even in Instagram as a whole, images that are high saturation, full of orange, like sunsets and stuff, like those do extremely well in Instagram. And it's like, just because they're popular, does that mean, more people will create that kind of content because it's popular? Because the algorithm keeps putting it in front of you. But, some people don't like black and white film images or whatever. So I guess what I was trying to say is like, it's funny because just because something sells and it's popular, doesn't necessarily mean it is the thing that people. I mean, it is the thing that people like. But if you don't fit in that,
Yeah, you're gonna
in that
just have it
box,
tougher.
that doesn't mean that your stuff's not valuable or not worthy.
Yeah, true. Although definitely you're gonna have it a little bit more difficult to get seen, and or the same example with square art. I also fall into the category because I usually quite often not everything I do square, but yeah, sometimes something is square. So yeah, because many platforms just showcase it as a square, and it makes sense to just originally make the art square. It kind of is strange, but yeah, this is how it works. But also I like to think that those kind of limitations are actually can boost creativity quite usually, because if you just have this some kind of square or just a tool to use, and it's gonna either get noticed better or sell. It's not necessarily ultimately a best and conformist thing to do, because it can really open some new ways to create stuff. So everything is pretty complex in this space. So just can use whatever is available. And if but Instagram, that's a good example of how platform and how algorithm, rather, not the platform, really creates. Yeah, funny to think about.
Yeah, like how it creates trends or whatever. Yeah, the square format is kind of hilarious because it's so perfect for like your phone. But if you try posting that image like on a TV, the aspect ratio is off. So it's funny. It's like, do you create for that phone usage, or do you create for all the other usages? Like, for example, like the screen I'm looking at right now is not a square. It's a rectangle. And if you look at the token frames
I was
too,
just thinking, just
or just
buy
like
token frame.
digital displays and stuff. Yeah, exactly. Like some things are not square, and they won't look great. And then other ones are square and they'll look fantastic in that square one. So it's just funny from that end. I do like the comment around limitations, or like being forced creatively to think of things differently. I think that's what made that 8-bit Tezos website, 8bidoo or whatever. I feel like that's what made it take off. Like it forces you to, like, it's actually very difficult to draw pixelated art that looks good, that doesn't look bad. So those limitations are, I think that's what kind of makes me appreciate like on-chain art,
like fully on-chain, you mean?
Because there are
yes.
fully on-chain,
Definitely.
because you can't just be like, okay, let me put an 8K video that's a minute long.
Yeah, true.
With like a ton of audio, because it's not going to fit, basically.
Yeah, I hope fully on-chain is the future somehow, because I keep thinking about this, coming back to this comment, this token hash, and it links to your art, which is not on blockchain stuff. Ultimately, it doesn't really matter. Just art is art. But then, if we can have a fully on-chain art, that's how that's conceptually would be just right to me, I think. But we'll see how it goes. Maybe it happens quite soon. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. I think people are becoming more aware of on-chain art versus the IPFS. Not that there's one that's right or wrong, there's obviously pros and cons to both. But yeah, let's see. Continuing, what are your sources of inspiration for you?
That's a lot of things, and usually not something specific, not books or films, although sometimes they are, but just okay. I think quite often I just try to analyze when I'm at my most creative, and this is when I was when I'm open Photoshop and just do it, and some forms or some shapes or colors just come up, and sometimes they don't, and I just leave it and just come back the other day. But usually the process itself is a great inspiration, if that makes sense. Just trying things, or even I usually rewatch my photos from some galleries from Europe and from here too. I took a ton of pictures of art I liked, and I keep coming back to those. Like I definitely like abstract art or constructivist art, things like that, especially lately. And so I just keep looking at it and maybe generate something with Midjourney to just keep it going. And yeah, so it's a lot of things, technically speaking. But in general, I just really like this freedom art making gives me. I think that's it. As cliche as it sounds, this is true, especially animating things, because it's like a free fall. You just have a thing or a shape or a line, and then you just yourself, frame by frame, make it whatever you want. It's amazing, just great feeling, and that feeling also is inspiring. That what I like a lot to experience, and yeah, so the process ultimately is what is at the core of it.
Thanks for that. How would you actually, now that you're talking about it, how would you actually define, like if you had to give it a name, your style of art?
Oh, I really have no idea. I think someone asked Des in his Discord about his art, this is a glitch artist or not, and he was just contemplating that, and then he mentioned something like boiled line animation or something like that. Yeah, and I was reading that and thinking, yeah, that's what I do too. So, yeah, it's just animating the same frame, redrawing it a few times so that it doesn't look still, but it's like atmospheric moving. I think that, but really, I don't think I can have a definition for my art, for my technique. About the like the substance of it, I do different things. I like abstract. I have a few attempts on them, not too many, but I really enjoy doing this abstract art. Some surreal elements too. For example, with Sova, I have something surreal. I at least try an attempt on creating some surreal scenes where there is this a character and common things, but mixed up in in a way that doesn't feel real. Yeah, that's a very dumb way of me to say to defining surreal, but yeah, that's it. Also, before I jumped back to what I really like, this animation and drawing digitally, I used to do a lot of collages. I don't say it's my favorite body of work of mine, really, because it was just experimenting and just really playing around with Photoshop and just an exercise for my imagination, really. But so I minted some of that stuff too, early days. Yeah, but collage too, and both photo collage and then I animated some of the collages too. So a lot of stuff, really. I don't think I have definite style. Maybe someone more knowledgeable in art styles can look at my art and define it. I don't know, but yeah.
No worries. It's definitely super hard to describe it, and I know that you've been exploring too, like FX hash as well, and other parts. So
yeah.
and we can talk about that in a bit. Yeah, I've been really enjoying your the Rezva editions on the ones for Manifold. So like the ones that move. Those have been really fun for me. Like Fragile and Routine. They're very fun to look at and just stare at for a while.
Yeah, nice. Thanks. Yeah, for me too. It was fun to make them. Although with them it looks very simple, but then it's hard to get that first frame right, and then animating it's a lot of fun. Also a lot of work. But yeah, but then yeah, to research and to get things right in terms of color and shapes, kind of a challenge sometimes. But yeah, definitely fun for me to make too. I really hope I will get more time, hopefully this next week and in the coming weeks, to get more of those editions. I really like, and I like Manifold too, and what opportunities it gives to artists for drops and get some not necessarily burn, I'm not sure yet, but just things you can do with claim page is fun. And so it's also, it augments our artistic expression to some extent. And just enables us to reward collectors, which is also very important.
What are the tools, actually? I think you've mentioned Photoshop. What are the tools that you use to, like, let's say, for example, routine, your edition piece? What tools did you kind of use for that piece to create and build?
Photoshop and tablet, just to draw and animate. But I think with the routine, I also generated a whole bunch of mid-journey things but it's not consistent. I remember I really liked some little pieces, little elements on some outputs, which I might like take as an inspiration for some shapes. But then the next generation is completely not what I don't know. Maybe I don't use it exactly right, but so sometimes it's great for concept art, and sometimes it's not, even though it's the exact same prompt. But in terms of technical tools, just Photoshop and some of my favorite brushes and presets and tablet.
Awesome. I know exactly what you mean about that mid-journey. I think my prop skills are not to India robots levels. Because I can never get what I have in my head into an image, and probably I just need to work on my prompts. But I know exactly what you mean. But it is a good tool to kind of, like you said, you might find something you like, and you can borrow from that or modify it to your will.
Definitely. No, sometimes it's really fantastic, and sometimes I can. Again, with exact same prompt, it's so different. And I think it's something to do with the way it works, or the way AI behind it works. I'm not sure. Probably it evolves and learns, and so it's not reliable, it's not consistent, for me. But still great. I think there are some other, like Dolly, I haven't researched, I know maybe you have, but maybe some better tools are available or more interesting. No, I'm not sure. I have to dive in.
Yeah, I use Dolly, and to be honest, I think I struggled with it even more. Like, I think your prompt writing has to be even better for Dolly, because I feel like I got frustrated with it and then went straight to Midjourney, and I definitely got way closer on Midjourney than I did with Dolly. Again, this is just, I'm an amateur when it comes to this stuff. Like, I'm still exploring how, like, these AI copilot assisted kind of things work. Like how I can incorporate them into my regular work more often. So I just went down that rabbit hole more this past week, and I plan to spend some more time. But yeah, it seems like I gotta get really good with my prompts, and it kind of makes me appreciate AI art a little bit more. People are like, anyone can do that, and I'm starting to realize,
you try it yourself. It's not that,
Yeah, exactly. You try it yourself, and I'm like, nah, I can't do that.
Yeah, true. But I love like everything related to AI. I don't know. I think it's fantastic. We're in the beginning of something truly great, not just for art, just in general. It's very, very interesting to see. Sometimes scary if you take some ideas about AI seriously, but yeah, very cool.
Have you encountered any challenges or limitations kind of while being in the NFT space, either with your art or just in general? Like someone copy minting you or anything like that?
Oh, that. It happened. I now can't recall one time, but probably happened a few times where someone I know actually just copied. Well, it was very clear that they copy my ideas. But I mean, it's not too crucial. And definitely, I guess if I had like crazy sales and someone just stealing or like huge money involved, then maybe I would be thinking different. But just other people just stealing something, it's not that big of a deal in the end of the day. I think maybe like the overarching challenge for me to even keep up to speed with NFT space was that a lot of things just have to work outside of that in offline in real life, and like work and a lot of challenges related to the war and like a lot of stuff. And that was the biggest challenge in terms of that I couldn't. There was a point where in the very beginning, I was very, very up to speed with the latest things, I would say. Like a hand just came out and I'm just know what's up, Tezos, and I like a few days and I know what's going on, and I was spending nights and like really not missing much, which takes a lot if you want to be up to speed in NFT space, especially those first year when everything was developing like crazy. But then I just caught myself not even, I don't know, ordinals. I heard you were very much like you're knowledgeable about those, and I still didn't have time to just at least learn what are those Bitcoin NFTs, stuff like that. So I think this is the challenge right now, that you really, if taken seriously, well, I do take it seriously, but if you want to get the most success, most fun, and most everything, you have to be full time pretty much here and really learning about everything. And I cannot do it, even though I want. So probably that's the challenge. And then many minor ones. Probably there was some, but really, I think the other one we can mention is this Twitter user interface to all NFTs. Sometimes it felt like a great platform to just promote your stuff and to jump in some interesting discussions, to see other art. But then it became a little bit like like you have to do it to get seen, and it's not fun, and like doesn't really feel like it makes much sense. But you have to like tweet and engage this social media side of things. I cannot say I hate it. I'm okay with that, but it gets repetitive and not that meaningful of a connection usually with people you don't know. Usual social media stuff and when it connects with me wanting to promote my art, it does get tedious and I don't really enjoy it. Discord, much better, much more personal and genuine. So that would be the second like big challenge. Yeah,
it could be exhausting, like you said, to try and stay on top of it all. And I think the expectation as the space grows, that people are going to be plugged in, 24/7. It's just not going to scale, especially with like these crazy mechanics that some of these projects are coming up with, it's fine for now because I think we're in a bear market and people get bored, I guess. But expecting the average Joe to be plugged into more than 25 or 30 Discord servers and following a ton of people, it's exhausting for sure. And like you said, as an artist too, like the bad thing about those algorithms too is that if you don't post on Twitter for like a week because you've been heads down working on your art, the day that you actually come to promote it, the system penalizes you for not posting for the past week. so your engagement levels are low, and yeah, it becomes like homework, like you said.
Yeah, but I don't know if we'll ever overcome this. Maybe with completely new technology behind social media or just any kind of promotion platforms. But this hunt for attention, at the end of the day, the cash value of this is attention, people's attention. Yeah, as you said, just the average Joe to get to notice me. And yeah, I don't think it's, well, yeah, it's too much sometimes. And it feels not genuine every time. Just not every GM is genuine for me. Just in case, on Twitter, I mean, just to have to tweet. I feel there's something wrong with this, and if there would be a way to just share your art and to create more and somehow not lose your presence on social media, that would be great. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just lazy about it and actually should take it as a work and just tweet and engage. That's also possible. Very possible. I don't know.
No, I know what you mean. I mean, it's obviously up until you get to a certain point, you know, like I don't think X copy is doing GM like every single day.
Yeah, no, but no,
but when he posts,
yeah,
you know, I'm sure everybody's paying attention when he posts, you know, once a week or whatever he's posting.
Yeah, but
it's just getting up to that level.
Yeah, well, easy to say. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So one thing I think you are actually the first woman that I've interviewed, and that just taking a step back and reflecting on the space, you know, it's not many women that I can see, at least, or that all the metrics tell us that it's just a bunch of burrows.
Yeah.
What's like that? What's that like for you? Like being a woman in the space? Have you encountered any challenges or anything of that nature?
Yeah, well, yeah, a bunch of bros around. Yeah. I couldn't say it was in any way like really discriminatory or like really, really bad. Definitely not. But yeah, generally, it just something keeps reminding you that just historically and for many, many different reasons of different natures, some of which are probably something to do with some like structural things. The vast majority are men, and yeah, someone just calling online, especially once I removed my profile picture as my face and just put my art. Yeah, just everyone once in a while, someone called me like man, bro, and stuff like that. It's not a challenge at all; just a symptom of how the space is built, and the majority of people from crypto and digital art and in the internet in general are mainly men. Yeah, but I don't know. Probably, I saw some female artists tweeting again on Twitter that it was if they were men, that would be much easier for them to get seen and stuff like that. Maybe I'm not sure about that. I cannot think of a specific case where it would really hurt my either visibility or sales. There is outside of NFT, there is this challenge of being a woman because I think, I mean, if I at some point decide to have a family or a baby and stuff like, or even not that, just doing other in real life stuff. Yeah, but it has to be related. Okay, I'm just rumbling. I want to say this that yeah, if I decide to change something in my life, in my personal life, and just fully devote my attention to family, which might be the case at some point, there is just for a few years really probably it's over for me. I mean, I wouldn't make as much art. I don't create as often now, but then it would be really probably off the table for a few years, and that was, I think it's a main challenge. So it's like an opportunity cost of this whole thing, not within the NFT space, but just outside. The way I can, I'm right now lucky to participate, to try my best to get as much time to it as possible, but probably it might be the case in future that I wouldn't have this luxury, to spend this much time, exactly because I'm a woman and I will have some woman things to do. So probably that. Yeah, but again, inside of this, I was thinking a lot about the Sotheby's auction and things like that. Yeah, well, that case may be a specific, but to me personally, I at least cannot recall anything really challenging like within the space. Because of anonymity of this, mainly, I don't know if I keep, I don't like hide my profile or even like again use my picture or. Yeah, but then I think if I kept using it, maybe I would. I don't know. I'm just fantasizing. Probably no significant challenges so far. Yeah, but again, I saw other women mentioning that something either like, yeah, just sales wise, that male artists sell better because they are more considered as more prospective investment, stuff like that. Yeah, I saw that discussions and some examples of that, but not. I wouldn't apply it to me so far.
I mean, that's great to hear that you personally haven't felt too much of a setback, other than, guys just being dumb and calling you bro.
Yeah, no, well, that's out of habit. Again, I really don't think there are any bad intentions behind it. Just a habit which is telling about the space, of course, but there's no personal, like, malicious intent. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I call my own wife bro a couple times.
Yes.
She does not like that.
Yeah, I call Defi bro in Discord server. So.
That's hilarious. Yeah. I mean, I think, so one thing that I think about, going back to your comment about being anonymous, on one hand, with the Sotheby's thing, if everyone's anonymous, then it's like kind of hard to be like, okay, there was definitely intent there, that it just so happened to be that everyone they selected for that auction was a male. Yeah. But then I also think about, like kind of going back to that Instagram comment I made earlier about the algorithm, like, is it a symptom of the fact that the people curating and making these decisions are men, and so we like a certain style, or things that gravitate towards us as men, and so naturally we, even if the person's anonymous, we see that art and we're like, hey, I like this. I think other people will like this. But it's like, really what you're actually saying is, I'm a guy, I think other dudes are going to like this. It's not like malicious, like you said. It could just be subconscious. So that's the one thing I think about is like, okay, maybe it's not malicious because everyone's anonymous and all that. Like, I personally thought Cardinal, which is one of the artists featured, I personally thought it was a woman, to be quite honest, for quite some time. And then once they were like, oh, it's a bunch of dudes, I was like, oh, I guess Cardinal's a dude. No offense to Cardinal if they listen, but yeah, I just think about that too, like, because I think about like when I initially tried getting some of my friends in real life that are women that are into crypto, not necessarily NFTs, but they're into like buying ETH and buying Doge and buying Bitcoin and all that. I tried converting them over into the into the NFT space, and I showed them monsters, and they were like, "Oh, that's cool. Like, seems like something dudes would like." And I was like, "Oh, I never thought about it like that. Like, I never thought that the stuff that I like would be things that guys like, you know? I don't know. Like, even the name, monsters, you know, it's not like, I don't know. But obviously, there are women in our server and all that, but, you know, it's just some stuff that I think about sometimes where I'm like, huh, never looked at it that way.
Yeah, it could be all of it or some of it. I don't know. Yeah, it's hard to prove it, I guess. Just based on the feelings about art. And I guess with thought-based thing, there were some specific things that are kind of bad curation and shady. Well, okay, not shady, but just probably not correct. Like using Rosa Mankin, I think her name was. I keep confusing her last name, but she's a like real pioneer in glitch art, and then they used her art to promote the auction. But then, and she is in NFT space, but they like never reached out to her, or I don't know the details, but definitely she wasn't like on the auction. So that like specific attitudes towards specific artists that happen to be women were really not good, not a good look on their part. But yeah, just looking at the artist who made it into that auction, just never crossed my mind that who are they? I mean, except I knew Des and some other artists definitely from there, but not everyone, and I had no idea who they are. So yeah, I guess that's a like more accurate curation and more sensitive curation, not necessarily to select an number of women and men, but just to really, if you refer to someone that is considered very crucial to this art style, and she happens to be a woman, just of course you want her to be in the auction. And I don't know, I think it's more about this. They didn't probably do their due diligence correctly, or how to call it. Yeah. Well, I in the end, I don't think that something really bad happened for the artists that were initially involved, because the first time I saw this, I didn't really. I haven't noticed what was the reason of this postponing of this auction, and I immediately thought, well, okay, Des was doing really well on that with his monster, and now what happens? But then it just postponed, so it's not canceled. It's just it will happen later. So no one, I think, really hurt in the end, and in general, that just initiated some good discussions, I think.
Yeah, I would agree with that. You know, no one got canceled, like you said. Sotheby's isn't canceled, so I think they just have to rethink it. And I think I saw like an interesting post. Someone said like, you know, women played a really big role in glitch art. I think Max Capacity was kind of tweeting some stuff around that. So, you know, if it's very crucial, yeah, especially like what you were saying. Like I didn't know about the banner art being by a woman. You know, like if they're gonna do that, that's messed up. So, I mean, at least they owned up to their actions and they're trying to rectify it.
Yeah, I think in the end it will turn good, and like it's already some good signs. I just also have to keep in mind about this possibility to overcorrect stuff and actually do some damage, but I don't think it's the case in this case, because again, no one that auction will happen just later and better. So
yeah, exactly. All right, let's continue with some stuff about you. For your project Sova, hopefully I said that correctly. Have you ever thought about maybe making a cross chain? Like, will it ever make its way into ETH?
Yeah, I have thought about it. I'm the idea is not fully formed, but I would like to do it, especially again with the tools manifold offers some claims and some reserved editions for specific collectors. Of course, you can do a lot of that on Tezos, but yeah, but it won't be exactly Sova because I like to think of it as a natively Tezos collection. I don't know, it's something that fits it really well, and it was the first piece, the first one, and then the rest of the collection after I regained some of my creative capacities to just create something again after this whole thing here in Ukraine happened, and it's a very significant collection to me. So I think as it is, it will stay on Tezos in this format, and I will have a few of new pieces, I hope. It won't be a huge collection, like 100 pieces, I think, but definitely 10, 20, yeah, something like that. But on ETH, it will be as an addition to this in some form. I hope. I have some ideas in mind, and again, the question is just time and energy to realize all that. But yeah.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. And no worries. You know, no one's I'm not gonna keep you accountable or whatever.
Oh, you should. Someone should.
Someone should.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was mostly curious, you know, just because like Des does a lot of cross chain stuff.
Yeah,
as well, so.
yeah. Well,
So I was curious to see if that made its way over to you, you know, because I think for me, like, I never thought about cross chain that much, but even for my own stuff as well, I'm like, oh, you know, he's so forward looking and smart and creative with his cross chain stuff, and I think we're all Tezos maxis secretly.
yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I was kind of curious about that because it is one of my favorite collections of yours. So mostly curious. What does actually Sova stand for, or does it stand for anything?
Yeah, it's in Ukrainian and Russian. I think it's an owl, like that bird. And
okay.
there is no particular link from the owl and the art. At least it's not just straightforward, but in general, I just was thinking of that. Is initially I planned the Sova collection to be like have this, yes, surreal and character based, but also this night and mysterious feel all through it. And I keep it in some of the pieces. Some are more light and not that at all. But yeah, just an owl and the symbol of night and wisdom and stuff like that. I just felt this little connection between what I wanted to create and just call it. And it's a short, nice word and confusing and not exactly. It's not understood at all, but by English speakers. So just adding another layer of confusion to the pieces is just like a marketing thing, you know. Maybe I don't know. Yeah, but this is the name of this collection.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I mean, not everything needs to be catered around the English-speaking world. You know, like Russian and Russian-based languages. Not really sure how to phrase that one, but like languages that borrow from Russian, or there's understanding between those languages a little bit. I know there's a word for it, but I'm not remembering it. But
well, Slavic group of languages. Right?
Yeah, there you go.
Probably. That what you mean?
You know, that's a big group of people in the world. So you know, cater to your people. You know, I think I name some of my stuff in Spanish sometimes. Because why not?
Yeah, you know, I never was my intention to cater something. Just maybe it's not understood and it sounds like a bunch of letters, and then people get curious and look it up. Even that's just an additional probably thing I like to check out. If I see the art and it named in the language I don't understand, I just translate it, and it's always fun.
Yeah, agreed. The other thing too, so I think I've seen you mention before, that you've been using AI. I know you mentioned Midjourney, but I think somewhere one day recently I saw that you mentioned using ChatGPT. You were playing around with like what is it, PJ5?
Yeah.
Are we going to see another FX hash or drop or anything like that? Because I know you've done 2, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Well, I really enjoyed doing this, like toying around with ChatGPT and B5 libraries, because I tried it before and I know very little code, really no code at all, to be fair, just very, very basic stuff. And I tried to code something and it was basic rectangles and circles and lines and okay, not exactly very artistic. But then I tried to communicate to ChatGPT about what I want with that code, and just like it was about really half an hour to 40 minutes chat with GPT, and then I put that code into V5, and it worked really in really, really fun ways and pretty close to what I intended. So just crazy to see. I don't know if something I will mint on FX Hash, and if I will clearly state that this is not the code from my head. It just experimented with AI. It would be fair to mention, and because it's not like Zancan or just really amazing complex code and truly man's labor behind it. It's just AI, but yeah, it's amazing. It's really fun. For now, it's at the stage where I just enjoy it, and when I have time, I just play around with it and see what comes out. But maybe later we'll have something to mint, to share, maybe to link it to my other collections, or have it as a drop for collectors of my other collections, stuff like that. We'll see. Definitely no specific plans so far, because I just researching this stuff. But yeah, but my first 2 drops on FX Hash was also, the very first one was partly generated by data, by the plots. I used pretty like scatter plot, but with very many dots on it, and then just some layers. But ultimately, it's a layered composition. I also like mentioned that in the description of those pieces, so it's not code again. But with ChatGPT, it might change, and yeah, just fun to see how where it goes. I don't know yet.
Yeah, no worries. ChatGPT is crazy. I mean, it's crazy how, yeah, within less than an hour, even with minimal understanding of coding, you can get to what you want visually in your head.
Yeah, it's and it's a little bit like using. I remember in the early days of Beeple and the very early days of NFTs, he was even like explaining himself. Even I would say to some journalists that I use this preset 3D models. So what? Like it's like a paint. It's like my brushes. So some artists use brush and just paints with the paint and the brush on the canvas, and I just take these free and 3D models and just shade them, and this is my art. And with AI, I think generally the same applies. Just you use this crazy technology to create something. So yeah, it's fantastic. I wish I had much more time for this just to research.
Yeah, there's not enough hours in the day for sure. Yeah, and you still have a regular, like in real life job and everything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, gets in the way of the fun.
Yeah, but my work related to information and data, and to be honest, I like that too. And there's 2 sides to. I enjoy something like really strict and logical and rational, but also art. So it's not like that I struggle through this. Just time-wise, I am, because I need to like get proper rest and to get things done. Yeah, but you know.
And then one last thing before we go have some fun. Do you have any like collabs that you're kind of talking through that you can maybe share or talk about, or any potential collabs out there?
Well, I have, but the other party of the club doesn't know it yet. I don't think I have an ideas, but again, I like to approach people with everything fully formed and almost 100% ready from my side. So yeah, nothing particular in the works really, but I would love to do some collabs in the future. Somehow I was not doing many collabs throughout my NFT journey. I don't know why. I definitely all for it. It's fun, but yeah, I should do some for sure.
Yeah, they're fun. I really liked your some of the other ones that you've done. Was it with Flux Capacity
Mm. Oh, right.
or
Yes,
Flux
yes.
City? Yeah, with Flux.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, yeah, that one
Yeah,
was
that
fun.
was
I like that one.
yeah, like community drop. Yeah, I definitely should do it. And now that you mention it, it's just interacting with other artists to make something. I was doing some collabs before NFTs when I was mainly sharing my art on Instagram, and that's it. Yeah, definitely should do some.
Yeah, it would be fun. All right. Let's see. I think we're going to jump in a little bit into some of this monster world. So I know that you're deep in the monster server, and the LOM series or the Life of Mon series is, I think,
Yeah,
probably special to
definitely.
you. I'm going to assume. Do you have a
Oh,
favorite Life of
that's
Mon?
now. Now this is the hard question because they're all really really great. Yeah, definitely. I feel very attached to the first one, to Peace Lom, number one. Obviously, it's like when I first saw it and like this whole thing happened with Des supporting me so much with this piece. I just regret that I wasn't had no emotions left in me back then to just really feel that joy of yeah, the whole monster community supported me because it was like crazy hard first days, and yeah, but definitely this first LOM. Every time I look at it, it just brings a smile, and yeah, I feel great looking at it. I probably have to at some point buy some token frame to to just showcase it at all times, maybe. Yeah, but then I know actually the lemonade one is great too. It's fun. I usually I enjoy it like just to look at it and just the little details. Maybe because it's detailed. That's exactly why. I just my eyes wandering on it for some time. And then I don't know if it will be released or not. But the one, the Rain Mon one, we have a sticker I think in Discord. Probably it might be minted at some point. So yeah, that one smiles amazing. Yeah, all of them. And
Yeah, they are really all amazing.
yes,
Rainmon needs to become a thing. Yeah, that needs to be real. It's probably my
yeah,
favorite
it's
one.
so
I think it's
cool.
like my Twitter
And
banner
it just
actually.
yeah,
I think I even made it my
for real.
LinkedIn profile banner. I
Nice.
went deep. I was like, yeah,
Wow, that's
Des could
yeah.
be on my LinkedIn. Why not? Well, I look forward to the day someone actually like sees it and knows what it is,
On LinkedIn,
and then
you
will
mean?
reach out to me.
Oh, that would be a level. Yeah,
Yeah, on LinkedIn.
it's possible. Yeah, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, you never know.
Yeah,
Monsters are
in
taking
some
over.
people. recognize
Um,
already bored apes and stuff like that, some moonbirds. I think there should be some time where like other more more artist based projects also get recognized.
yeah. Yeah, the story behind Lom 1, or kind of how it all started, is nuts. I'm glad that
Yeah,
that
it
he did that.
was. I don't know. It just he he shouldn't have done it, but it's just yeah, still no words really. Just gratitude, and it really helped me like big time because yeah, we'll see. The thing is still going on, but yeah, and it's amazing that this like really cool art and this character also is on it in the center of it all. This little Mon, such a cool character. Really, I think we should. Yeah, we have some plushies, and Des should. I don't know. We just discussed that he should release some chocolate Mons and just go all in on this brand and do as much as he can. But no, yeah, it is just a great series and definitely my favorite collection by far. Yeah.
Definitely an underrated series. Yeah, and you could tell too. Even like Smiles is like .26 ETH right now. Yeah, it's a good entryway into the Monsters universe. All right. Do you think we're ever going to do that pink Ultra Spawn event?
No. No, yeah, probably yes. Who knows? Oh my god, no.
That's the right answer.
Maybe in a few years. I don't know. Next year. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like Defi
Yet
just
they
came
did,
and
and
took over.
many people are legitimately complaining that okay, you know, like I don't know when. I think it's a wise strategy to just do all DeFi related thing now once it has all this attention. I think that's all good. But yeah, I think that Des mentioned somewhere that he has a lot of stuff ready. He just very calculated and protective, as he also mentioned about all the other work that his collectors own. He doesn't want to rush with drops. That's a great thing. But yeah, but we're very impatient to just see new stuff for sure.
No, I agree. He is very calculated in that, and totally respect that. I say it mostly in jest, and I think you're right. I think you said like focusing on DeFi is probably the right move with so many people that came along. But it is funny that like no drops for DeFi for like 2 days, and people are like ready to have a revolution or something.
Well, they demand action. Like, it's sometimes funny to see. Sometimes it's funny. Sometimes really gets like, okay, who's on that side of the screen? If it's a child, okay, you can just type this kind of stuff. Like when do something, just drop announcement. But if it's an adult person, just demanding an artist on the internet to do stuff to pump his bags, it's just so. I don't know, but yeah, well, people are different.
Yeah, is there anything else you want to talk about on the monster side?
Well, we can talk about it for a very long time, obviously. No, just yeah, if there will be any monsters listening to this, I really, really enjoy every one of you in your company and have fun. Yeah, and just yeah, I really, really appreciate this community. Yeah, that's probably always needs to be added from my side because I really do. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fantastic community. I think that's what makes those comments kind of hard, where people are like, when. It's like if they slowed down to take the time to get to know the community. they would realize that, it doesn't matter if the next drop isn't for like another week or two or a month,
Yeah. Yeah,
it's
definitely.
like, just have fun in the meantime. Yeah. Going into some speculation, do you think, so you know how last time for, was it ETH Denver, we had the Good Morning Mon airdropped,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly. Do you think we will see one for NYT or NYC NFT?
I haven't thought of it.
What do you think?
Well, yeah, yes. I don't know. Yeah, maybe. It could be some. Maybe that would be a pink triptych like spawn event. No, probably not. I don't know. Maybe something Defi related.
That's what it is. Happy to be here. That's what it was. I think they had like if you find people at ETH Denver, you could get this piece.
Yeah. It was
If I
rareable.
recall correctly. Or it came off, or like
Right,
fell from the
yes, yeah.
sky or something like that.
It was rareable. I think I was minting. It was my very first piece on ETH by Des, actually. And I was minting it here, but probably, it was collab with rareable, and there was some physical minting going on too. Yeah, I don't know. Could be. Well, I think we have Christie's auction of the monster, right? And so maybe again some airdrops to bidders. Maybe that's my speculation. And we can pressure this into doing something as well. Yeah.
Right. I mean, that wouldn't be a bad bet. I know people have asked too. They've been asking. They're like, "Hey, is that happening?" And he hasn't said anything that I've seen, but you never know.
I hope he enjoys it at least to some degree, because I don't know. Probably there's a lot of pressure on him too, and I wish him to be able to ignore it to the healthy degree and just to enjoy also creating and doing whatever he wants.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah,
He needs a vacation.
It's happening now,
That's what
I
I'm
hope.
gonna say.
Well, I mean, this and if New York, I hope they also meet up and have fun. Besides just doing, I don't know how it looks really. This NFT meetup things. There are so many happening in Europe as well, but I never been to one. Maybe I need to at some point go to NFT Paris at least, just to see what people are doing. I guess they're just talking and looking at pictures, but just not at home, but there. I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah, I was trying to go this year, but I think I'll go next year or something, and definitely got to see how these events work. I think it's like a good opportunity to network and meet people and stuff like that. So one of the recurring segments that I ask people is, so pinchos means it's like a tapa. If you ever had tapas, like Spanish tapas. So with that said, what is your favorite snack?
This one is for some reason hard because I don't like really have very specific. I like fruit in every shape or form. Like I like fruits. Maybe it's not very original, but I usually eat some fruits and berries and stuff like that. I mean, sometimes too unhealthy amounts. I like that. Yeah.
Wow. Way to shame us all on not being healthy.
Yeah, I like unhealthy stuff too a lot, like chips and stuff like that, but it's not that I snack that too often. Just fruits are my thing.
Yeah, what's your favorite fruit then?
I'm not sure. I like blueberries. Well, it's not fruit; it's a berry. Yeah, but I like blueberries a lot. When it's season, it's not that much of it right now. Yeah, some stuff like all things citrusy. Yeah, different stuff. I'm not vegetarian or like I eat meat as well, but yeah, just sometimes fruits. Let's just put it like this, fruits. Yeah, I just generally don't really enjoy or like I don't talk about myself much and my art, but actually I think I had to do it more. It just also helps to reflect on my own and art and my place in the NFT space and things. So it was fun.
No, thank you. I appreciate your time. Seriously, it was great.